Hey there, Jim and Cindy here from OUTAPocket. On our last video, we had a very successful install of the automatic transfer switch. We've been thinking about how to keep the momentum going, and it's time for more power!
No, I'm not thinking of installing someday a super efficient, low-profile air conditioner that we can use in the middle of nowhere. I run it off of batteries. Not me.
No, you would never think of that.
Never.
No, but seriously, we've been using the Goal Zero battery in the van for a while. After putting in the transfer switch, it would be great to have some more power. So, did a lot of research. Turns out there are some good deals right now still after the first of the year.
Yeah.
And I found an Ecoflow system that met all our criteria on Wellbots. As usual, if you look in the video description, you'll find information on the products. But we're going to replace the Goal Zero today with the Ecoflow system.
So today we're going to take you through what we purchased, why we purchased it, and the actual install. So
hopefully it won't be too bad if I made my measurements carefully, but let's get on with it. Pull the Goal Zero out.
All right.
And get on with a more powerful system.
Sounds great. Let's go.
Let's do it. That's it. This is the battery we've been using, the Goal Zero Yeti 1500X. When we put in the transfer switch, first thing I did was investigate if I could expand this. They do make an expansion for this called a Yeti tank, but unfortunately that only supports lead acid batteries. There's no lithium expansion, and the lead acid is really heavy, and it would also be very large. Whatever we do, we're putting in this compartment down here where the Goal Zero was. So I was disappointed in the expansion capability of this. Honestly, it's not the first time I feel a little bit let down by Goal Zero. Before this battery, in an older camper, we had a Yeti 1000. And I bought that because they promised there would be replacement batteries. Well, they never came out with replacement batteries. So it's kind of the second time I've been a little bit let down by Goal Zero, but they didn't have a solution for this anyway. Ecoflow appears to have a great solution for this. These two batteries, if I did my measurements correctly, should just barely fit in this compartment. I did look at some other battery systems, the Jackery. They make a lot of batteries, but not quite as advanced from interconnectivity and recharging. Also looked at Blue Yeti. I really like some of their systems, but the batteries were just like a ½ inch too big to fit in this compartment. So these two batteries, this will be 1500 watt hours. Now we're moving to 4096 watt hours. So almost a little shy of 3 times the power. The other big advantage is when we charge this on the road, the only real option is to use the cigarette outlet adapter right here to charge this back up. You can't connect it to the alternator. The solar panels are already wired into the van. So really, feeding that to here is a very slow charge. It's almost impossible unless you're driving 20 hours straight to fully recharge this from this adapter. This system has an alternator charger system that they make to go with it. We're going to install that. That's going to be a different video. First, we're going to get these batteries replacing what we're doing with the Goal Zero. So that'll be our next video. So if you're interested in seeing the whole thing end to end, please subscribe so you'll get notified when we complete the setup with the alternator charger. But for now, we're putting these in this compartment. There's a cable where they hook together so that they'll work in tandem to deliver the power, and we'll hook it up to our transfer switch just like we used to do with this one. If my measurements are correct, both batteries will fit in here side by side. But this partition has to go. So let's get that out of here. There we go. Okay, I think this is the way it'll have to be. I've got it at a slight angle so this cable can come out without being under tension. It goes around to the extra battery. I've got the plug to the switch in and the power cord to this end. And the door closes, there's some ventilation here, ventilation here. We'll put in a vent here so things don't overheat. The display for this main unit, and for the extra battery for that matter, are facing the side. That doesn't really matter. You can see everything you need to see through the Ecoflow app. It shows the same information. The ports are also hidden, but the thing is, I don't need USB ports. We have plenty of USB ports in the van. There are auto ports in the van. As long as this thing is hooked up powering the van, we have everything we need. We don't need to use these extra ports. This is the vent we picked up at Lowe's. Matches the other ones more or less. So that will go down here, venting under the dinette. That way this can stay properly ventilated. I templated this out, so we'll measure it with a level, mark it, and we'll cut. Maybe about there. Ready to modify the van?
Always.
Okay, here it goes. Let's see what this stuff is. So put a small, finer blade on here, wood blade. Hopefully that'll do the trick. One more hole. Just plywood. That looks perfect. Now we have to feed the Ecoflow power cord through and get rid of the Goal Zero one. So I'm going to try to make this easier on ourselves. That. Okay, that looks good. An extra. Go through. Okay, perfect. It's time for the final battery placement. Do you remember where they go, Cindy?
I took a picture.
Okay, I think I remember. One thing to note on this main battery. There's a setting in the back, right here, that controls if it uses maximum charging or a lower charging. You want to set this to lower because that's too much power to put through this transfer switch. This is a 15 amp circuit, and this thing can charge at 1800 watts, which takes up pretty much all of 15 amps. So if anything else coming into the van is using power, like this is just going to take too much. So you can set this down to a lower charging, and then you can adjust it in the app to whatever level you want. I'm setting it to 600 watts for now. So let's get this in there. Okay. Get a few of these things connected. Everything's hooked up. Time to turn it on. There we go. That display lit up. That display lit up. Should be able to see everything on the app now. Here we go. Output. Let's turn on AC. That should feed the transfer switch. And we should... There we go. Oh! I hear the DC converter kicking in. We have AC. And we're not plugged in. We're not plugged into shore power. So it's working. Just a side note, I had to replace that outlet. You don't have a green light on your pocket. It was bad. That's it. We're good to go. With the app, you can control most functions. There is a setting in here. You can, because this thing will time out and turn itself off if there are no loads. You can turn that off. You can set it for 48 hours, 24 hours, whatever. If it does turn off, you have to just open it up and hit that button again like I did. But this install's good to go. What do you think? More power?
More power. Cannot be more excited.
It worked. I mean, taking all those measurements, ordering stuff online, you hope it all fits. It barely fits, but it does fit.
It was a pretty simple install. The
It was.
hardest part, frankly, was figuring out how to
Yeah.
position those batteries. And I'm sorry, Jim, I'm really kind of happy I was working the camera at that point. Those things are heavy.
It was fine. Hey, you took them out.
I did take them out.
But a great upgrade. I'm looking forward to putting in the alternator charger. We're going to do that in a future video. For now, I do have the auto charger like we used with the Yeti that we can plug in to recharge off the solar and battery system and all that. But the alternator charger is really going to be the end game with this setup.
It should be our, third video of this series? I like it.
But now we have almost 3 times as much power, and more than enough for almost anything we need right now.
It's gonna come in handy this summer. I can't wait.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you very much. If you find that this video is something that's of use to you, feel free always to like and subscribe.
And there are deals on these Ecoflow batteries,
Yeah.
so if you're thinking about doing something like this, now's a good time. Check the description for the links and other information.
All right.
Till then,
Till then.
we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.